Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, it has been confirmed that Kevin Samuels indeed is deceased. He did pass away, and a lot of people are talking about this. This is definitely something that needs to be talked about. It is what it is. Some will call it a distraction, but when someone passes away, it is never a distraction. There is a reason why people pass away. And I am going to be talking about this even further. One of Kevin Samuels' last messages was that modern women are a party of one. Okay. And so I wanted to expound on that a bit because there are a lot of things that have been put out about women over the years, not just by Kevin Samuels, but so many others. So many others amongst black males have put out information about black women, and they're not being fair about this. And when black women choose to set the record straight, we are called feminists. We are called or labeled as having the Jezebel spirit, all kinds of things to deflect from the truth. A lot of people who tag women with the Jezebel spirit have no idea what the Jezebel spirit was even about, which is proof by the things that they say. They have this very worldly view or understanding of what the Jezebel spirit is, meaning that they have no idea of the spiritual applications of the Jezebel spirit. So they just say what sounds good for them to say as men. But anyway, we're going to be talking about modern women. And of course, I disagree with much of what Kevin Samuels stated. And I want to say this for the record too. The last video, or should I say the first video I did concerning him passing away, I was saying that people should not celebrate. Our people are dull of hearing sometimes. I made it very clear that I was against his teachings and his whole platform, but our people, they hear what they want to hear, okay? People were saying that I'm defending him and I'm taking up for him. No, I was not defending the man. I was giving you a very spiritual warning that the Most High doesn't like for us to do that, because tomorrow is not promised to any of us. I made it very clear that I was referring to celebrating someone's death. You should not do that, period. It's not a good thing to do, okay? Now, moving past that, modern women are not holding out. As Kevin Samuels spoke in his video, the last one that he did about modern women being a party of one. They're not holding out, they're actually opting out. Modern women are not holding out, but opting out. There is a big difference. A big difference. Now, what do I mean by that? The condition of black women being single, whether they're single mothers or just single women, period, that has been a source of ridicule for black women coming from black men. And black men have caused others to jump on board as well. I've seen and heard a lot of white females as well using black male platforms to taunt black females, or using their own platforms because they feel empowered by some of our black men to do these things. They felt empowered. When I did a book trailer years ago for Woman Thou Art Bound, I actually had clips where there were black males and white females who were taunting black women about being single, about being undesirable, and all of these kinds of things, right? Black men have empowered people to feel the courage to say these things because they say it on a daily basis, right? And of course, you all know that I'm only talking to the black men who do this. I'm not talking about every black man, right? But this whole notion that modern women are holding out is just not right. It's not a true statement, okay? They are opting out. And again, I'm going to get into what I mean by that, but it needs to be understood that these platforms that have popped up over the years are trying to make it seem as if black women are the sole problem for the problems in the black community, and that any way that black men feel about black women is all their own fault, and that black men are just innocent victims of circumstances, and that they had absolutely nothing to do with why black women feel the way they do. Okay? So I'm going to be bringing this out. And of course, there are statements that have been made by so many black men over the years, which further proves that they are not fair in their thinking. They are not fair in their thinking. They just want what they want, and they are going to allow perniciousness in their minds and in their bodies and in their ways to cause them to bring judgment on their own selves. So many statements that have been so hurtful, so demeaning, to the point where even people of other nations and races have been coming to the aid of the black woman, saying, look, what you are doing is awful, it's wrong, it's disgusting. Now, it's not that black women feel that they need other people to speak up for them. It's not that at all. It's just that other people are getting so disgusted by the things that are being said that they are speaking up on their own. Because we were called to be lights to the world, but what we are showing forth is darkness. And of course, those of you who follow this channel you already know that I am not saying that all black women are innocent and that black women can do no wrong. I'm not saying that. That is just another point of deflection whenever we're talking about something very specific in the black community, between black people in black relationships. That is just a point of deflection from people who are spiritually dead, spiritually childish, and have no real need or desire. They have a need. Let me take that part back. No real desire. There is a need, but no desire to do right. No desire to do right. And so, back to modern women, they are not holding out but opting out. You have black women who have made statements to where black men feel like the black woman is somehow being a feminist because she has said, look, I don't want to play the game anymore. I just don't want to be hurt anymore. I don't want to deal with the rigmarole. I don't want to deal with the stress of a relationship. Black women are saying, look, I don't need all of that. I'll just do better if I'm just on my own, taking care of myself. So I want to talk about the fact that a lot of black men use the statement that modern women or black women say that they don't need a man for nothing. And I might do a whole separate video on this, but that stems from the statement that I can do bad by myself. So basically they're opting out by saying, look, all the time that I've spent with this particular man is nothing but heartache, trouble, turmoil, dysfunction, and I could just do bad all by myself. I don't really need a man for all of that. That's where that statement comes from. Men are trying to make it seem like black women have just decided that they're not needed and all of this. It all came from something. It stemmed from something. There is a cause and effect in things, and they don't want to look at the causes. It has been proven time and time again that black men, way back in the days of Sidney Poitier and all of them, they were the ones opting to go with other women, with white women and women of other races, not because black women were not good women. Even Eartha Kitt, she wasn't even a fully black woman. Even though she identified as a black woman, she was a famous black woman. And she had two very famous black males tell her that she can't be married, or that they can't marry her because they want to be successful. And in order to be successful, they had to be with white women. And so that was like a kick in the gut to Eartha Kitt, who was a famous black woman. It had nothing to do with her not being marriage material. It had nothing to do with her being a baby mama. It had nothing to do with her being a loudmouth. They told her the reason. They wanted success, and they didn't feel that they can get that with a black woman as their wife. And so they told her that success comes with being with white women. So all of you who want to lie and say that black women are the reasons why they are single because of this, that, and the third, these are just lies that you have convinced yourself of to justify your pernicious ways against the daughters of Zion. To justify doing what your flesh desired. Black women are not holding out but opting out because they don't want to be hurt. They are tired. Many have watched their mothers be hurt, their grandmothers be hurt, their sisters be hurt, their aunts be hurt by black men. Many have seen this and dealt with it. Many have had to pick up the pieces after some black men have shattered the life or the heart of a black woman. And you have men like Kevin Samuels who say that there was no evidence that black men were abusing black women. That was a lie from the pit of hell. To say that there was no evidence that black men were abusing, not only were they abusing, but they were killing as well. And they continue to kill. It seems like report after report after report of black women being murdered by black men since he made that statement have been coming forward, have been brought to light. This stuff has been happening for decades, and for him to be willfully blind towards that point is disgusting. Again, no one should be celebrating that man's death. No one should be celebrating his death. But the things that he spoke in the black community were venom. And you had men trying to pretend like he was good for the black community, like he was trying to help black women. He wasn't trying to help black women. I mean, I've heard segments where he would actually tell black women who decided that they wanted to be celibate after spending time being with different men, they wanted to be celibate and save themselves and just stop sinning. He told them that they have no right to lock it up at that point. In other words, continue in sin. And he was telling women to try out different men. How the heck is that trying to improve a black woman by telling her to do something that's contrary to what the Bible said? Even in his last message, talking about modern women being a party of one, even in that video, he basically told black women to stop waiting on God. And yet some of you men say that he was trying to help black women. How is that helping them if you're trying to tell them to go against the mandates that the Most High have placed on us? That was very venomous teaching. And this is why black men were riled up about it. And this is why they enjoyed his teaching, because he enforced that hatred that they already have for black females. And again, I am not talking about all black males. I'm talking about those whom the shoe fits. That venomous teaching was very disturbing. And as I stated in a video that I did last year sometime, where I asked the question, was Kevin Samuels the nail in the coffin of black relationships, of black families? Was he the nail in the coffin? Because more men felt empowered to degrade and hate. They felt validated to hate black women from the things that this man said. They felt some form of validation. Yet there's this pretense that he was trying to help black families. He was even telling black men to sleep around. How the heck is that trying to help black families? There was so much venom. You know, the Bible talks about leaven. It talks about leaven. Where there's a little leaven, it leavens the whole lump. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. You can't take a few things that were said that may have been right and try to make it seem like he was a guru and a proper teacher for the black male and black female relationship. And then he placed value on people's net worth versus their spiritual worth. This is where that whole high value man, high value woman thing came into play. He wasn't placing a value on your virtue as a person, but a value on your pocketbook, on your bank account. And some of you men ran with that, even men who were not high value men who were broke, busted, and disgusted, were feeling like they were high value men because it came out of the mouth of Kevin Samuels. You can't place value on a person because they have money. He literally placed value on Bill Gates because of his deep pockets, saying that as a man with deep pockets or a high value man, he had options. And so providing justification why he and his wife had to split because other women were sniffing around too. But yet you men want to call this man some type of guru. I even heard religious men, some men so-called in the truth, saying that he was God's man or God's voice for this hour. And they were only saying this because of their hatred for black women. They were like, okay, here is a voice that I can listen to, because he despises black women. And you can tell by the things that he said, degrading them, belittling them. And so these so-called religious men who read the Bible, who should know better, sitting back saying he was God's voice for this hour. I heard a few brothers say that kind of stuff. One in my comment section said that God sent him to expose the black woman. No, more so expose the black man. The depravity in some of the men who think the way that they do about the daughters of Zion. Again, no one is saying that so-called black women are innocent. But a lot of what you see is because the head has been so out of control for so long that the body is following. The women are supposed to follow the lead of the man, and that they have been doing in many cases. Because men are out of order, the whole body is out of order. Because the head is sick, the whole body is sick. So yes, our women have gotten out of control. Many of them, not all, just not like all of our black men are out of control. Not all of our black women are out of control. But for those who are out of control, it was a cause and effect. And all of this shifting of blame to the weaker vessel shows that they are spiritually weak as well. Some of these men are spiritually weak because they want to shift the blame. But according to biblical prophecy, all of the blame belongs with the head. Because when the head is sick, the whole body is sick. And the head wants to shift the blame to the woman, because the man does not know how to look in the mirror and make the determination that their fall was divinely ordered because of their disobedience. They have been made to be under the foot of these men of other nations because the Most High mandated it because of disobedience. This thing that you see in the black community was literally the Most High, our Creator, ripping the carpet out from under black men and their dominion in the earth. This isn't something that was caused by the black woman. This is something that was caused by the failures of the black men to adhere to their head, which is the Most High. Men want respect and honor from women, but they don't want to respect and honor their head, being the creator of heaven and earth. The Most High, our Creator, told men what they were supposed to do, but men decided to establish their own righteousness and go their own way. That's why they have this new movement, men going their own way, something like that, that MAGTOW, whatever, men going their own way. They started these movements as if the woman is to blame for why they want to go their own way. Of course, there are some women that have been molded and made by the failures of men who have become treacherous in their ways, and men end up with these treacherous women, and then they want to blame all women for the treacherous women that they chose. They want to try to make it seem like that's women all across the board. A lot of these women that are like this are the direct product of failed male leadership, absence in the home, failure to rule in their own homes or in their own communities. And when I say rule, I'm talking about proper headship, righteous headship, not all of this brute beast stuff. As the Bible said, some men would have a brute beast nature and they would creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sin. I'm not talking about those men. I'm talking about proper heads, men who have been proper heads. That's the type of leading that we have needed. We have needed men to be proper heads. But men have decided to go their own way, and they follow after other men who have gone their own way. So again, some of the things that Kevin Samuels have said that's been so degrading, and this is just the tip of it. It's been so much of it. when he taunts the daughters of Zion about being in the danger zone because of their age. When you're between the age of, when you're above 27, you're in the danger zone, meaning no man is going to want you. Party of one. Women dying alone. He said, if you don't do this, that, and the third, you're just going to die alone. Then calling women average at best. And the one that I can't stand is when he say women are in no man's land. When you hear some of this stuff, you might think, okay, that sounds funny. But then when you really think about it, it's not funny. To say that you're in no man's land, you are taunting the daughters of Zion. Now, if he says that to a woman who has done something and has brought this on herself, okay, that's one thing. But to speak in general terms as if a lot of black women are going to be in no man's land, okay, so that means that there are no men available. And why aren't they available? Because the Most High is judging them. That's why. A lot of people don't understand why there is 7 women to 1 man. And some statistics actually say 11 women to 1 man. It's a very, very real reason why this happens. It's because a lot of men have been judged by the Most High. Their lives have been cut short, which is evidenced by what we see in the news. And for those who like to deflect, of course, I know the Most High judges and chastises women too, but for the most part, he lays the hammer down more so on men than he does women in regards to the failures in our communities. It just is what it is. And this is not me celebrating that fact. It's me telling you what is happening. This is why our brothers need to repent and stop with this foolishness. Stop following after men like Kevin Samuels and Tommy Sotomayor and all of these others who hate black women and have developed and built platforms and gained wealth on the fact that they do. This is utterly disgusting and it's disturbing. Okay, y'all, again, this thing about modern women not holding out, that's just not true. They are opting out. They are saying, look, I can't take it anymore. And when they say I can do bad by myself, and then that morphs into I don't need a man for nothing, that's basically a woman saying, look, I'd rather be alone in my quiet space than to be putting up with this foolishness and this nonsense. I recently did a video where I was talking about a lot of black females are starting to do the van life, where they are getting vans and they're living on the road or living in small communities where that is allowed. And some of the men in the comment section were talking about they're doing it because of feminism. One woman actually said because she's trying to heal herself, right? But you have men saying that if a woman is able to be independent, first of all, these vans that they had were very expensive vans, so that means they can afford it. So they have the financial means to take care of themselves. So it sounds like a lot of these men are just jealous and they want to call it feminism, trying to make it seem like the woman is trying to be the head. If there's no man there, what do you mean she's trying to be the head? If she is a single woman with no children, what the hell do you mean that she's trying to be the head? She is the head of her house if there is no man there. When the Bible talks about headship, it's talking about in a family structure, the man being the head over the woman. If there is no man, then of course she is the head of her house, or the Most High is the head of her life. Meaning there is no physical male there. So of course she is going to be the one to head the home, but the Most High will be the one to lead and guide her in the path that she is to go, if she is a believer or a follower of the Most High. But to say that a woman is feminist simply because she decides that she's going to do the van life, where she's going to be on the road, where she's going to be taking care of this, handling her business, providing for her own needs. How is that feminism? What does that have to do with a Jezebel spirit? That is just a lying, wonder tongue deflection that comes forth from a lot of these so-called black men who despise black women, and they look at them with an evil eye, because many of these black women are educated and they do have jobs and they are able to do this. And they have opted out of all of the rigmarole that comes with being in a relationship with a man who cannot even respect and love her. So So yes, modern women are opting out, not holding out. And when you really look at the statement, modern women are holding out, it's basically saying that they are turning down men and holding out for something better. Now, I will admit that some women in the past have turned down, I'm going to say, men who were working but they didn't prefer the job that they had. But that is not the case across the board. Yes, you did have women who didn't want to marry someone who was driving a garbage truck, but that is not across the board. If we are honest with ourselves, most women didn't care the kind of job that a man had, as long as he treated her right. As a matter of fact, many women, this is why some of them are opting out, because many have taken in strays. Many have taken in men that were homeless and said, I'm going to take a chance with them. I'm going to try to fix them up and clean them up and help them out. Many women have done that. That's why they are opting out. So don't try to make it seem like the women who were high career women who decided that they didn't want to be married to someone who didn't have any goals or visions. Don't try to make it seem like that was every woman, because a lot of women did go with men who didn't have any job. And for them, it turned out to be a disaster. So again, this is why many are opting out. And a lot of the women who were holding out, a lot of them have seen examples of women who have been mistreated, misused, and abused. And because of those examples that they did see, they made the determination that they weren't going to take a chance on somebody who was going to just move in, use, and abuse them. So there's a cause and effect to this stuff. Don't try to make it seem like men are just always innocent victims of circumstances, and that women have just been so horrible. Every person has their place in this dysfunction. The head being out of order first and being sick caused the whole body to be sick. That's the men first, then the women, and now the children. Those of you who talk about the statistics of single mothers, shame on you. That's you giving the man his excuse, exonerating him when it takes two to tango. She didn't make that baby by herself. When a man decides to let go inside of a woman, he knows what the possibilities are. So stop exonerating these men as if they had nothing to do with the creation of that baby that came out of her womb 9 months later. I'm sorry, but men like Kevin Samuels have offered no help to relationships in the black community. People can fool and trick their own minds and say that he was trying to help black relationships all they want. You have people who have actually said he's tried to help black relationships, black marriages, black people. Those are people who are misinformed. Those are people who are not being honest. Those are people who don't know what a relationship should look like as it relates to a biblical context. Anytime somebody is encouraging men to get with prostitutes, I'm sorry, or encouraging women to sleep with more than one man just to try things out, I'm sorry. You out of your mind if you think that that's sound relationship advice. You are out of your mind, out of your cotton picking mind, if you think that that is sound relationship advice. If you think that that information was meant to help black relationships, you out of your mind. Anyway, I'm done with this. Y'all can say what y'all want in the comment section. I already know that a lot of brothers are heated about the death of this man. Although I don't believe people should be celebrating it, some things need to be looked at for what they are. They need to be looked at for what they are. And instead of some brothers looking at this for what it is, someone shared with me that a brother called into someone's live chat and was calling this black woman out her name because she was covering the situation with Kevin Samuels, and he was calling her crying, almost in tears, as he was talking about his God that passed away. and calling her a black B, the black B word, over and over and over again. That's disgusting behavior. That is disgusting behavior. And this is why the Most High has rained down his judgment on so-called black men, because they are not thinking righteously, and they are not thinking fairly, and they are not dealing fairly with the daughters of Zion. I'm done, y'all. Until next time. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.